Todd looks for injuries. Um,
I mean, for me, feel like the one thing that can be sticky that could easily carry over into the season, I look for velocity increases for pitchers. Those kinds of things can, I mean, we saw yesterday or the day before, I can't remember which day, Carson Wisenhunt was sitting 96, 97 in his live BP. He's a guy who averaged like just over 92, 92 and a half with his fastball. So that's a pretty substantial increase, especially this early on in spring training. Something to keep an eye on. That could spur a potential breakout for a pitcher. Spring training action underway. Few games yesterday. We got a full slate of games today. And Todd, I just wanted to do a general, what, if anything, do you look for during spring training that might change your perception of a player?
Other than the obvious, did he get hurt?
That's a big one.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not what you're looking for. Yeah, let's move on. Todd looks for injuries.
I mean, for me, I feel like the one thing that can be sticky that could easily carry over into the season, I look for velocity increases for pitchers. Those kinds of things can, I mean, we saw yesterday or the day before, I can't remember which day, Carson Wisenhunt was sitting 96, 97 in his live BP. He's a guy who averaged like just over 92, 92 and a half with his fastball. So that's a pretty substantial increase, especially this early on in spring training. Something to keep an eye on. That could spur a potential breakout for a pitcher.
The next thing you do is you Google Wisenhunt drive line, right, to see if there's a reason. Along those lines, there's been some talk this past week about pitchers with new offerings, maybe a tweak in their delivery. I'll check that out for sure, because in order to change your mind, there's got to be a reason, right? It can't, the guy hit a home run, whatever. There's got to be a reason, and it's a lot easier with pitchers because changing a pitch, even if going from the windup and not the stretch or something like that, there's something tangible that you can hang your hat on. And we only hear about the pitch changes at work, and the batting stance changes at work, but we don't know unless we track them. We don't know if they're going to work or not. So that's one thing that I like to do is follow the pitchers with the pitch changes. I guess later on in the spring, looking at some of the job battles, where the Cubs using Matt Shaw, if they're using Matt Shaw.
If they're using Matt Shaw, that's right.
Yeah, well, I guess they'll be using him. Right now, there's a lot. I went through some lineups with James Anderson on the series show. A lot of guys hitting first and second, so the manager can get them more at bats and have them face the better pitching. That's going to be tough all spring, just because with the WBC watered down lineups, it's going to be tough to read into that sort of stuff. So maybe towards the end, you get a better feel for where a player may be hitting the lineup. I don't think you can trust it now. I want to get so and so more at bats. Our own Jason Collette talks about team steals often are predictive in spring training.
That's
a good, not great correlation, and the best managers manage to their clubs. But the difference this year, well, not the difference, something to keep in mind. Was it 10 new managers this year? There's a lot of new managers. So there's a lot of team tendencies for which we're not aware.
That's right.
So I will watch that. We're going to talk about steals anyway, so probably a little spoiler there. But I mean, mostly, actually, to be honest, I'm still doing a lot of work and newsletters and everything else. I don't watch a ton of spring games.
Sure.
No one will watch more. I can't say no one. I'll watch as many during the season, especially because I can watch during the day. But the spring, I'll have it on. But I'm still tweaking projections. Do a weekly newsletter, team notes. So I'm still. I can't be distracted right now. During the season, I get stuff to do, but I can turn the sound up and flip around.
Yeah, and especially with all these different teams having these broadcast issues, Sometimes you don't even know where to watch these games, but yeah, it's more something to keep on in the background for me. I'll look up if like a top prospect is getting an inning or two on the mound. I'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, you don't want to throw away all the research you've done by results in a week or two of spring training games. But there are certain things you can kind of keep an eye on during spring, and I think the velocity thing that has the potential to be sticky, and lineups you want to keep an eye on, but that can be tricky. You got to be careful about reading too much into that, as you mentioned. Maybe a potential, especially guys that the difference between batting ninth and first, that's a big thing to keep an eye on, because that's a big swing in value. But outside of that, you just got to be careful reading too much into that, especially as you mentioned, because a lot of guys are going to be gone.
Yeah.
WBC. But moving on to some spring training news, or the news that's happened so far since camp is opened. Unfortunately, usually these are injury-themed news bullet points, and that is the case here. Jordan Westburg very quickly developing a injury-prone reputation, let's say. And we found out a week or two ago at the beginning of camp that he had an oblique injury, but now it's an elbow injury, a partially torn UCL. He's going to get a PRP injection. Orioles have already ruled him out at least through the end of April. And Mike Elias kind of left it open-ended as to when he might return after that. So very up in the air, Jordan Westburg's status. And Todd, I'm assuming probably in shallower leagues, we're just not drafting Jordan Westburg at this point. But I mean, at what point in your draft in a deeper league are you willing to roll the dice on a guy like that?
So you said the key words, and not everybody's reporting this that you just did, at least through April. But I'm hearing through April. I'm hearing, we assuming he comes back May 1st. No, we have no idea. And that, I don't want to say just crosses him off my list, but it's going to have to be a real big fall. I got burned. Never drafted injured player. I drafted Spencer Schwellenbach at a couple times, very early drafts. I just felt, hey, broken elbow, he'll fix that. It's not DJ. There's so many players out there. I can't afford to make, I haven't had the greatest track record. I can't afford to make a mistake. So I'm just not, I like Westburg's third base. It's not a great position, but I'm not going to be the guy that gets cute and says, you know what, I think he's going to come back on May 15th and he's going to be the old Jordan Westburg.
Yep.
Just not going to happen. So I don't know. I'm going to be in this time next week. Let's see. Will labor be over? Yeah. 3 hours. No, you know what? It's just about, no, we'll be right about this time next week. Jordan Westburg could be on the clock. We could be discussing him or bidding on him. I'm not going to be bidding on him in AL labor.
Yeah. I like Jordan Westburg, the profile, but it's not enough for me with all the uncertainty now. I think I'm probably just passing on him at this point until we have more clarity. It does open up playing time at third base. Kobe Mayo looks like he's going to be getting regular reps for at least the first month or so. He did show a little bit of promise in September last year. Finally, very inconsistent playing time to this point, but he becomes more interesting. The Orioles are also without Jackson Holliday for at least the first week or two of the season. Well, Alexander also going to get some reps, probably at second base. Something I had tweeted about too to keep in mind. Westburg was arguably their best defensive infielder. That's a really rough defense in the infield, and none of the Orioles starters are like extreme ground ball pitchers, but most of them kind of lean ground ball heavy. So I don't know how much to read into that. It's not great for a guy like Shane Baz, who I like a lot this year. Maybe if we're using a tiebreaker between him and another guy, you think about that Orioles defense and maybe click on the other guy's name, but just something to keep in mind there with the Orioles pitchers.